Chapter 191. Are you going to stand there and watch Harold commit murder? When Trump saw Harold swinging an axe at Alex, he could not help but roar out loudly in anger. However, at this time, Lady Richard and Harold father could not be bothered at all. They continued to sit inside the house as they watched the fight that was going on in the courtyard, not even blinking their eyelids. The other members of the Richard family also remained silent, as though everything happening right then had nothing to do with them at all. Moreover, at present, Lady Richard was only interested in the villa. She did not care about anything else. Sometimes, the older a person was, the greedier he would be. Even in the past, the king would want to build a bigger, better, and more extravagant palace, going as far as to prepare a better tombstone for himself as he got older and older. Therefore, the older Lady Richard was, the more she hoped that she would be able to enjoy the rest of her life better. The old lady wanted to live in a bigger and more luxurious home, and she wanted to die and be buried in a better place. She also wanted endless glory and wealth in her next life. So, this was the reason why the older generation would always want to prepare a thick coffin and a gorgeous grave for themselves. Hence, no matter what happened today, Lady Richard had to get her hands on the villa that was worth $230 million. Even if Harold really killed Alex in the process, it did not matter to her as long as she could get the villa. Trump and Emma raised their heads as they looked at this group of people who had hearts as cold as ice. These were their so-called relatives whom they were related to by blood. These so-called relatives did not hesitate to set up a situation to rob them of their property, and they were even prepared to kill to get what they wanted. At this time, Harold's father simply replied, "Brother, why are you so worried? Harold is just fooling around. Why are you taking this so seriously? Furthermore, it does not matter at all even if he really hurts Alex since he is not from the Richard family anyway." In his opinion, Alex was just a son-in-law who had no power, influence, or authority. Therefore, he felt that there was nothing that Alex could do even if Harold injured him severely. Moreover, if Alex really died in this fight, they would be able to take the villa from him easily. That villa was worth $230 million. And prices for properties were currently soaring. If they managed to take the villa from Alex, they could simply allow the old lady to live there first, and by the time the old lady had passed on, the villa would probably be worth at least $300 million. $300 million. Who would be able to resist this kind of temptation? I do not have an elder brother like you. Trump yelled angrily before he picked up a mop and started hitting Harold with it. Harold's father frowned immediately because he was afraid that his son would get injured. He quickly rushed forward to stop Trump. "This is your own doing. You don't want any way out at all, do you?" Before he could even finish his sentence, Trump had already hit him with the mop. Fortunately, Harold's father managed to dodge his attack on time, and so, the stick only hit him on his shoulder, and he yelled out in pain immediately. When she saw her father, who was usually very kind and mild-mannered, acting this way because he was so angry, Emma could not help but feel only hatred and resentment toward the Richard family. At the same time, she was also anxious about Alex's safety. Alex was still holding onto the axe blade, and at this point, he was staring at Harold as he ridiculed him. "Harold, let me tell you the truth. You have never been a threat to me, and you will never ever be a threat to me because you are so useless. Go to hell, Alex." Harold was filled with anger. "You are nothing but a piece of trash, and yet, you actually dare to speak to me like this." Before he could finish speaking, Alex had grabbed his wrist directly before pushing it back in the other direction. A crisp pop sound was heard before Harold screamed out in pain. Alex had broken his right hand by bending it back 180 degrees. Harold howled out loud before he slumped to the ground, continuing to cry out in pain.